Hi there, this is Julia Warner, and I'll be talking about feedback in learning and in the classroom. So, to start off, what is feedback? We often refer to feedback as any information given after the fact, after a performance, after solving an equation, writing an essay, or taking a test. However, all of these are often simply pieces of information, given a B minus on a paper, winning a tennis match, or being told, great job. They are not effective in helping to change behavior to meet a goal. Effective feedback is a combination of many elements, and Grant Wiggins provides 7 keys to effective feedback for us to give students to enhance their learning, their progress, and how they can change their behavior to further reach learning goals. The first key to effective feedback is that it is goal referenced. Information becomes feedback if I'm trying to reach a goal or trying to cause something to happen, and that information tells me that I'm on track or not on track to reach that goal. We should remind our students of their goals in an instructional task. Wiggins uses an example that the goal of a specific writing task might be to make the reader laugh. So when rereading or receiving peer feedback, the writer can ask, how funny is this? Or how might it be funnier? Both of these questions are in reference to that original goal. The second key to giving effective feedback is that it should be both tangible and transparent. Feedback must be concrete and obvious to the learner. We cannot assume that the learner understands the rubric to a science experiment or that they understand all of the reasons that they earned a B minus on a paper, even with notes on that paper. Sometimes the learner is so wrapped up in their performance that they miss the feedback. It's our job to make the feedback comprehensible for them in a way that cannot be missed or mistaken. Next, feedback should be actionable. Actionable feedback helps the learner understand what specifically they can do differently the next time. It helps them take action to change their behaviors to better meet their learning goals. For feedback to be user-friendly, it should first be age-appropriate or appropriate for the level of experience the learner has. So giving expert-level feedback to a novice would not be received well. Giving too much feedback is overwhelming and would also not be considered user-friendly. The learner can easily be overloaded with information if given many areas of their performance that must be changed, which would cause them to not take any of that feedback into consideration. Feedback should also be timely. The sooner that it's given, the better. It's incredibly frustrating and quite unfair to complete an assignment and not be given feedback on it until weeks have passed, meanwhile having been asked to complete multiple other assignments that are similar in nature. Wiggins argues that the teacher, while the source of a lot of feedback given in a class, does not have to be the only source. Sometimes teachers argue that timely feedback is difficult to give considering all that a teacher must do in a day, but we can use different things like technology and peer review as other means to give timely feedback. Feedback is also ongoing. After feedback is given, the learner should have the time to use it, apply it, and receive more feedback. This is the essence of formative assessment. In a summative assessment, the feedback comes too late for anything to change. When utilizing formative assessment, the learner is given a chance to rethink, reflect, and revise before receiving more feedback in order to revise once again. Finally, feedback must be consistent. Using rubrics and collaborating with other educators about what exemplary work looks like is key to providing students consistent feedback. If educators are not on the same page, they may give feedback to the student that is inconsistent or contradictory, therefore confusing the student. So, where does feedback come from? The teacher originally is the model for giving feedback, or a coach in athletics, or a director in a play, but ultimately we want to teach our students to find feedback in other ways. Wiggins argues that the most powerful feedback comes from the activity itself. We can teach our students to self-adjust, reflect, and revise their performances on their own, depending on the feedback that they receive from their actions. Students can be taught to ask themselves, what did I do that worked? What did I do that didn't work? Now, how can I improve? This is another tie to effective formative assessment as it allows students to examine where they are, where they must go, and give themselves feedback to change their actions in order to better meet that learning goal. Here is a list of my references, and thank you very much for listening.